Namaskar. Welcome to SP Swayam Prabha live session day 5. To all the distinguished colleagues who are attending this from various colleges and universities all over the country. As you are aware that this is the 8th batch of NEP PDP training on NEP 2020 for the 15 lakh teachers. IGNOU has started few months back. I think in this process we have already completed 7 batches and your batch is 8th batch. I think this is started on 5th December. This will be concluded on the 13th December. And as you said, as you are aware that SP live sessions are every day. For the first 6 days, SP live sessions are organized. I think last 4 sessions you must have attended and got the benefit of that. And today is the 5th session. Today the 5th day and 5th session of SP Live. Today we have a very important topic for discussion, and that is NEP 2020 and vocational education. I think you must have seen the NEP document, you must have seen the video programs available on Swayam platform, and you must have seen the last 4 days SP live sessions, and you yourself must be interacting with various other colleagues about the NEP 2020, which is focusing apart from the various themes like multidisciplinary education, interdisciplinary, and then multiple entry, multiple exit, digital support to the students, and even a credit transfer and academic bank of credit. Along with that, there are important issues that vocational education and skills. I think that's where the challenge lies. I think you can interact with any higher education expert involved in the NEP 2020. They will talk about how to integrate the program, how to transform your program, normal programs which we are conducting for all these years into multidisciplinary and with the help of skill-based. Naturally, unless I am aware of it, unless I have a basic idea how to incorporate the skill or vocational education in my curriculum, it's not an easy task. Okay, there are established disciplines, it is easy, like sociology and then anthropology, economics, political science. You know how to integrate, how to link together. But when it comes to the vocational component and vocational skills and the skill-based other areas, unless you aware it, what are the things we are going to incorporate and how to do that is a challenge. I think that will be the focus for this today's session. I think we very selected this particular topic after really brainstorming among my own colleagues who are organizing this program. For this, we have a very important speaker, my colleague, Professor Ashok Gaba, who is a specialist apart from various other specializations. At the moment he is concentrating and focusing on the vocational education and skill components, and he is in touch with various other agencies involved in the vocational education in this country, particularly the higher education level. So he is the right person to take up the session. We requested him. Let me introduce Professor Ashok Gaba for all of you, benefit of all of yours, and he is a professor of vocational education in the School of Vocational Studies and Training, Vocational Education and Training at Indira Gandhi National Open University. He was the former director of the school. Twice he headed the school, and of course at the moment he is a professor in the school but actively involved in various activities of the school. I think quite a few programs are developed, whether starting from the certificate, diploma level, related to education, even a BA vocational education. Now at the moment they are involved in the MSc programs related to information security, MSc, MA in entrepreneurship, which is again the skill is figuring it. So that's why, so naturally his expertise is very important, which is relevant to each one of you. I hope we requested him to take. I think Professor Ashok Gaba, apart from vocational education, and his core area is the open and distance learning research. I think he has extensively did a research in vocational and distance learning. very rigorous research and published quite a few articles and books in the area of ODL system on various aspects, particularly the focus of cost and economics point of view. So this is in brief. I am introducing, and then I request Mr. Gaba to speak half an hour or 35 minutes of his presentation. Otherwise he has a long presentation, but naturally keeping this time and give time to you to interact with him, I am requesting to take a 30-35 minutes. I think friends, let me welcome you all for this SP Live session, and Mr. Gaba will start. I request him to present his presentation. After that we will have interactive session. I think let me welcome him and start presentation. Let us wait for a few seconds to switch over to the presentation and the PowerPoint.
Thank you, Professor Murthy. I welcome all the my colleagues, those who are viewing this program across the country in different regions. As topic for my discussion is given New Education Policy 2020 and Vocational Education. So I will be sharing my experiences for three perspectives. First, our New Education Policy perspective, what is the requirement and what target fix for vocational education in this particular policy, and what is vocational pedagogy, how the academic role as a teacher role will be changing while implementation of new education policy at your respective institutions. And third part is best practices, what we have done particularly in the field of vocational education, national and particularly our own IGNO and our School of Vocational Education perspective, what we have done recently on the basis of the new education policy concerned. So if you see the target of our new vocational education policy is enrolled more than 50% students to vocational higher education by 2025. This is the target. If you see what we have at the moment, only 5% total workforce get vocational training. So it's require every stakeholder's active participation to achieve this target of 50% exposure students to vocational in higher education. And if you see, the policy further highlighted the beginning with vocational exposure at the early stages in middle and secondary school. That is already school education by CBSE and other state board of education already initiated and implemented this school vocational education. But if you see the higher education context is required, quality vocational education will be integrated smoothly into higher education. This is a huge task, and we all, those who are here, to be play a very active role for achieving this target. But there is also some recommendation in the National Education Policy, that is National Higher Education Qualification Framework will be formulated, and it shall be synchronized with the National Skill Qualification Framework to ease the integration of vocational education into higher education. It points out that higher education qualification leading to a degree, diploma, certificate shall be described by the National Higher Education Qualification Framework in terms of each learning outcomes. So it's a huge task. It is not the case at present what we are doing. At present we have a prescribed syllabus in our face-to-face teaching, and we are covering that syllabus, all academic courses, but when it will be implemented, then we have to synchronize all the our syllabus and courses as per the National Skill Qualification Framework and National Higher Education Qualification Framework. But if you see the recently development, the policy further stated that we have to facilitate norms for issues such as credit transfer and equivalence through the National Higher Education Qualification Framework. We all know policy. I think all stakeholders and all faculty must have gone all these policy documents. But this target for vocational education in the context of alignment with the academic courses is a huge challenge before all of us. The policy stated that we have to mandate relevant agencies to identify specific skills that students must acquire during their academic programs, with the aim of preparing well-rounded learners with 21st century skills. We are preparing for this vocational education and skills integration of our curricula and syllabus for enhancing the employability among graduates, keeping in mind the requirement of industry and employer at 21st century skills. That is basically goal for this new education policy. Policy says that we have to focus on education more holistic and effective by integration of general and vocational education, As we are already doing choice-based credit system of UGC, you have some skill enhancement courses, and some we have a employability and then language courses and this course specific courses. Here in vocational education, we are not focusing only theory part. At the end of the certificate and diploma or whatever degree awarded in these particular vocational streams, the integration of the academic courses and as well as the vocational courses required to ensure the vertical and horizontal mobility of students and learners between academics and vocational streams. This is a scenario of the policy requirement. Now, what is vocational pedagogy? We know all these academic courses, face-to-face teaching, and we are teaching our all course-specific academic courses like economics, history, physics, chemistry, and so on. But how these vocational courses will be different teaching while we are taking academic courses? That is vocational pedagogy. Vocational pedagogy is a field of knowledge oriented towards vocational trades, occupation, and professions. There is a relationship between working life and the education system such that studies of work-based activity in vocational education is very much needed. Now, questions ये हैं कि आप टीचर्स को अभी वोकेशनल जो कोर्सेज हैं इंटीग्रेट करना है जो वोकेशनल प्रोग्राम से रिलेटेड. फॉर इंस्टेंस एक फिजिक्स का कोर्स है, एक हिस्ट्री कोर्स है. अभी प्रोफेसर मूर्ति सर ने हाईलाइट किया है कि इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी कोर्सेज. नो सपोज एक कोर्स आप फिजिक्स के साथ एक बच्चा चूज करता है कि मुझे कारपेंटरी का कोर्स करना है. सेकंड और बच्चा कहता है कि मुझे अभी फैशन डिजाइन का कोर्स करना है. थर्ड कोर्स बच्चा कहता है मुझे इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी या एंटरप्रेन्योर स्किल्स जो है गेन करनी है. So keeping in mind the demand for that particular vocational streams, it becomes difficult to implement all the respective colleges and university. Therefore, this integrated or question bank, any course you can do from these vocational programs on the MOOC platforms, SWAYAM platforms, and then credit transfer will be then academic courses. Number one option. This is my perspective. And second, your own institution can start your vocational program as per the UGC or NSQF guidelines. What are these guidelines says? But before that implementation of the vocational education, you must understand the vocational pedagogy, what we are discussing just now. You see, vocational pedagogy is based on vocational skills in a workplace and societal context. It is not only vocational programs what we are going to design and we are going to offer as like textbook. No, it requires real life situation based teaching learning process where hands-on experiences or internship or project based activities where skills to be enhanced. That is a major focus. There is a need for skill gap analysis at workplace. Suppose you are going to start any particular vocational course, it all depends upon your all geographical area, what type of skill required in this particular geography area where your college is located, where students are coming. But it is difficult. All state governments or industry have done some skill gap analysis, that reports available, and where we can decide, and UGC also identified some vocational trades where this program and courses can be implemented along with the academic courses. Then development of curriculum, that is DACUM approach is required while designing the particular program of vocational in alignment with the academic courses. And experts, workshop, etc. So real job experience to be given internship, during the internship or apprenticeship, whatever students has been designed to get this particular vocational skill enhancement program. This type of analysis can contribute to the specification of the curricula decided by the policymaker. That is the basic point which we are going to discuss today in depth. Because what policy document says? Our new education policy, then we have a new skill development policy 2015, then we have regulations. Accordingly, you have to design the course. What is the course? The process identifying and appraising individual's level of function in relation to vocational training and job market. Industry says that we are not getting graduates as per the requirement of the skill they require at their respective enterprises and their own institution. But if we see the training institutions or education institutions saying that we are covering all skills, what type of skills required by the industry. The huge gap between demand and supply of skilled manpower in an economy. Industry says that there is a shortage of particular skills, and they said that various report available which referred that graduates had degree, they have a theoretical knowledge but not practical skill. They are not able to perform the skill what they have in their respective job performance. So assessment option required in this particular curricula and delivering vocational education program. It should be through open-ended written assessment or performance tasks to portfolios. That's why this vocational education curriculum and syllabus is different from the academic courses. And it is the responsibility of this particular vocational curriculum, and that is academic skills. You have to incorporate as a faculty when you are coordinating this vocational education program and vocational pedagogy you are going to implement in these particular institutions. You should include academic skill, general speaking, communication skills, IT skills, then general workplace skills, that is job specific skills. What are the portfolio which has been given activity, the project and the written scenario, and these all skills to be linked with the curriculum and syllabus. And there is a lot of already existing different level of vocational program at the school level by NCERT and CBSE evaluating. In higher education, most of these education institutions like IGNOU or skill development specified university and public sector and private sector have adopted different approaches and different models while adopting vocational pedagogy at their respective education institutions. So vocational curriculum, when you are going to design, you have to raise the questions. What are the aims and objectives of curriculum? Which learning experiences meet these aims and objectives? How can the extent to which these aims and objectives have been evaluated? How can these learning experiences be organized? These 4 questions to be raised by yourself while you are designing the curricula in this area of vocational discipline, any vocational trade. These 4 questions kept in mind. Now coming to these approaches to VET curriculum, at whom is educational process aimed? Learners target groups you have to identify before adopting this VET curriculum approaches. What goals and qualifications are to be achieved? That is learning outcome. After getting the certificate, what learners will be able to perform a task when given at their respective job place. For instance, if somebody has my broken this chashma immediately, I immediately visited to shop and the technician said कि आपका जो साइज में हैंडल है वो ठीक कर दिया है, दूसरा नहीं हो पा रहा है. तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि उसकी स्किल्स पूरी तरह से 100% अचीव नहीं हुई है. सिमिलर एग्जांपल मैं देता हूँ कि आप गाड़ी 2 व्हीलर चला रहे हैं या 4 व्हीलर चला रहे हैं, आपका रास्ते में पंचर हो जाता है. अब उस रोड के बाईपास में साइड में देखिए एक मैकेनिक बैठा है जो पंचर लगा रहा है. उसकी कहीं ट्रेनिंग नहीं है, तो उसके पास स्किल है वो स्पेसिफिकली जो उस पंचर को लगा के आपकी स्कूटर को फिट करके व्हील को आप ड्राइव कर लेते हैं. So there is 2 type of different approaches of vocational education required. First, those who have skill, they require certification, and second, those who have skill but not fully evaluated. So evaluation is not like because we are a faculty from academic courses and we are evaluating our term and paper assignments, giving students A, B, C, D grade or numerical marking 50%, 60%. But there is a debate among the all vocational scholars. We require 100% marks, not 100%, at least 90%, 5-10%, which students not getting this grading, he should be experienced on the job and then get 100%. So here in vocational, we require 100% achievement of the task what we have given and not like academic courses. And what contents are to be learned. So theoretical courses and practical courses to be separated and more focus if you see. That is in Vocational Education Qualification Framework, that is VQF, Vocational Qualification Framework, and some countries Skill Qualification Framework, and we adopted the National Skill Qualification Framework. We will discuss in formal discussions. So what teaching method and aids are to be used? Real life situation based learning, and you have to give demonstrations, project based, and this is vocational pedagogy what we discussed just now. How is the result to be tested? We have already discussed this point. These 5 questions to be raised. Now, the characteristics of vocational curriculum focus on transferable skills, vocational interest, and workers' characteristics and behaviors, and academic abilities and potential. This leads to learner style, because learner style is also learning style different from learner to learner. We know whether it is academic courses or vocational courses. Learners have some learners have more interest in vocational courses less than in academic, and there is also research says that most of the learners have academic interest but less than in skill. So this different heterogeneous learners background, we have to see learner styles and work aptitudes and abilities and suitable employable alternative. Suppose one course he has done some particular course, not able to perform, and he should be ready to adopt the other employability skills and available within this particular course program. We will demonstrate this experience here. Now coming to this particular course of the role of the vocational teacher or trainer, that is the most important part. First, when you are involved, because it is role require every teacher across every discipline, because new education policy is focusing on interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. First, you have to list a task in relation to each competency. Any program, any vocational curriculum which you are developing, you have to develop the competency and skill component. You have to design a format for presenting the breakdown of tasks into competencies, break each task into component of knowledge, skill and attitudes. You should identify social skills. What are the social skills required for the task, and state each component in terms of measurable learning outcome. These are the basically experience of our vocational curriculum. Now what we are doing, what is the present scenario and best practices in vocational education in general and School of Vocational Education IGNOU, what we are doing. You see, at present, National Skill Qualification Framework, and now there is one document where recently Ministry uploaded, that is National Credit Framework, because vocational education, academic courses, then conventional teaching, then ODL, online teachings, different credit framework were there. Now the committee appointed by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, come out, the one document, they submitted their report, that is National Credit Framework draft is there. Then who is evaluating and regulating authority for a vocational program? There is National Council for Vocational Education and Training. Earlier it was National Skill Development Authority, at present National Council for Vocational Education and Training. Now see, national, as New Education Policy 2020 referred, there will be a National Higher Education Qualification Framework, and there are two draft documents are there at present, National Credit Framework and earlier National Higher Education Qualification Framework. These two drafts document clubbed into one, that is called National Credit Framework, which has been uploaded by this Ministry of Education web page, where they are inviting any suggestion and comments before implementation in this particular document. Now UGC and AICTE other regulations, tomorrow it may be others. So these are the scenario at present, regulatory framework, whether academic or whether it's a vocational higher education is concerned. Under this framework, if we see what we have done, the functions of the NCVT is qualification approval and awarding bodies and assessment agency. What are the qualification? If you see National Qualification Framework document, there is a different level, 1, 2, 3 level and 4 level is being given to school education. And earlier it was 5, 6, 7, 8 to higher education, and 9, 10 is master's degree and all that. But now National Credit Framework is there, and they have reduced this level. That what is that level we will discuss now, and qualification approval required by the NCVET. Then there is awarding bodies who will certify, who will assess. Sector Skill Council's role is there. What are the Sector Skill Council? This mechanism, to understand if for detail, you have to visit NCVT web page, or you have to see Ministry of Skill Development web page where detailed guidelines are there. But Sector Skill Council, at present we have 37 Sector Skill Councils. What is the role of this Sector Skill Council is to create occupational standards and qualification bodies to develop competency framework, train the trainer programs, conduct skill gap studies, and assess the certify the training on the curriculum aligned to national occupational standard, that is called NOS, and developed by them. Because each course, each task force, they have developed these skill sets, and for instance, one program plumber is there, or one program is entrepreneurship skills are there. If you have learned level 2 level, 3 level, so your job role will be defined by them. What you will do, supervisor or technical assistant. If you have achieved more than 4 and 5 level of the skill or vocational certification, you will be appointed as assistant manager particular vocational trade. So each NOS define one key function in a job role. Each NOS must be a coincide and readable document, usually consisting of no more than 5 years, 6 pages, or some of only 1 or 2. In their assessment form, NOS describe functions, standards, or performance of knowledge and understanding. For instance, if you visit NCVET webpage, you see they have appointed nodal officer of each sector skill councils, agriculture sector, retail sector, banking and insurance, BSFI sectors, and so on, ICT sectors. So what is their role? They have to identify the NOS, National Occupation Standard, and your all syllabus and curricula will be aligned with this sector skill council's job role. Now coming to this particular role, what we are doing here, the government says कि government policy document, if you see the annual report or other various document, the 37 sector skill council, 34 sector skills particular job opportunity is concerned, 128.2 million people required. The mostly construction sector, 32 million people required in construction sector. So this report is developed by NCDC and available on Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship web page. You can download and see details which sectors required what type of job. Highest is 32 millions in construction sector and retail sector 10 million. But if you see the economy at present, Indian economy after COVID, our service sector contribution is increasing. So the skill require more in service sector and in comparison to manufacturing sector and hardcore skills. If you see electronics and ITES 6.9. If you see recently we have reviewed some skill gap analysis, various reports of the national and public sector and private sector and PwC reports and FICCI reports. Very interesting result they are giving. And they are giving service sector skills also required. For instance, furnitures and fitting, 5.3 million people require in India. They have given state-wise, they have given district-wise skill gap analysis. That reports available in all NCVT and Ministry of Skill Development documents. I have given references also in the bottom of these slides. So these are the requirement of 1.8 million people to be trained in these sectors. If 34 sectors report I am giving you, the highest top 6 sector I have highlighted here, where 1/3 million people to be required of this particular 1 to 8 million. Now 22 already being over. Now we have just 6 months. We have not achieved this 28 million people so far. It may be various reasons. One of the reason is there is a low perception. There is a low perception among the public, and parents want their kids to go technical, BTech or medical or other academic courses other than vocational courses. General perception is very poor. Response is very poor. Second reason is we have not linked the employability skills as per the need, because we are offering vocational programs. This is my perceptions, and that enhancement placement is that particular sector is also missing. The huge demand. They said degree certificate is there because industry should have come forward to give this skill training. Knowledge is to be given, this is my point of view, knowledge is to be given academic education institutions, and skill to be given, training to be given by the industry, because they said they are not getting the skill manpower. Education institution doesn't have the skill labs and all the sectors and or lab, but their labs are there. Particular education institutions, if they have particular labs of the or any training, vocational training infrastructure available, they can proceed. There is no harm. But if you want to achieve the target, it's require everybody participation, not only single institutions. Therefore, we cannot achieve this target of 1 to 8 million concerned, whatever ministry report are saying. Now, if you see the National Credit Framework document, their level now increased. Earlier, it was 4.0 in higher education. Now it is 4.5. Degree level program. This is a draft document. It is not finalized, but I highlighted here for discussion, because when you are going to start, I think hopefully it will be finalized this week. And any vocational curricula. So first year of your degree program will be certificate program if they have 40 credits, whether ODL system or conventional or online. So 40 credits if you complete 2 semesters of the degree you complete, you will be given certificate. And if you complete 4th semester or second year of your degree, it will be given diploma, and you see UG degree or PG degree. And after 3 years, When you complete, then degree will be awarded. After fourth year, 4-year degree, then a research and other vocational streams you can choose as per your UGC or NSQF draft or National Credit Framework draft. So these are the scenario at present, latest. Under this scenario, how to proceed further? That is a case, because every day policy document change and regulating guidelines change. It's require huge infrastructure for vocational, huge funding required. So challenges before us, everybody, those who want to introduce vocational programs at their respective institutions. And because if you see private sectors and public sectors, vocational different models are being adopted. Some of the NGOs are offering this vocational program where they have a well-established industry, they train and they place them, and they give training them to other industry. So different models are there, but academic grassroots level courses is there. My perception is that we should offer service sector vocational and skill training programs that will, whether it is ODL or online, that will cost not only less cost but also placement perspective also we required to training in this sector. So these three component is required as per the three dimension of National Credit Framework, that is academic learning and skill based program and experimental learning, what document says. The three component what we explained here is required for this particular vocational training. And now coming to this particular three component, what we have done. For instance, various scheme of the Government of India are going on. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra National Skill Development Corporation, which is the public-private body which identify the body of national sector skill councils, and various projects and various models they are giving and offering program with the help of the private partners. They are assessing the skill component, and there are various roles which you can go for further detail their respective web pages. National Council for Vocational Education Training just highlighted and that is approved, and three component assessing awarding bodies. Then Jan Shikshan Sansthan, the National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, that is government body also offering the skill based vocational program, and Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship and Director General of Training DGT, where they are giving non-workers and non-formal worker training program. In this way we have designed this particular course, and we are coming to our own institution. What we are doing, if you see present, there is a need for integrated training courses with apprenticeship due to experimental growth. And second, we see the Pradhan Mantri Yojana where ITI's courses are being highlighted. But if what we are doing, our school of IGNO, what we are doing, you see, School of Vocational Education Training Program, we are offering program from certificate to PhD level. We have a certificate from program in communication IT school. Any students from any institutions can register with this particular program. Certificate in fashion design, that is also offering very well, and all sector, although it is not aligned with the as per the NSQ of level 4 or 5, but we have involved the industry and faculty while designing the curriculum as per the requirement of the level 4 or 5. So advanced certificate in information security, diploma in BPF finance, and you see our postgraduate diploma in information security and PG diploma in informatics sales management. Recently, last 2-3 years back, we have started this degree program, Bachelor of Arts Vocational Study, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Most of the students have diploma certificate and things, but they are not having the entrepreneurship skills. So we want to create a startups person more in our economy, so that can not only help their economy but national economy as well. So they can employ people, others, rather than they are giving the job by themselves, they are searching. So this focus of this particular program is there. We have a post-graduation, a master level science program, information security, and 33% of the total budget of any public sector, private sector going these days, information sector. Latest data of what happened yesterday release, we see the threat of the cyber security, information security is facing everywhere, of the national security concern or public sector, industry security is concerned. And there is also Master of Entrepreneurship program, specialization, training trainer. We designed this particular program, and we are also offering vocational education program, PhD, that is vocational education and training. Now, how to we are creating the skill component? You see, this Master of Science Information Security program, we included skill component, security analytics and project management and incident response, data science analytical skills, soft skills, and post deep forensic cases, because these cases are increasing day by day. Now, how they delivered? For instance, skill evaluation. We have included this particular fashion design program recently, and we adopted our blended training approaches. What are the skills? Industry required skill, creativity skill in fashion design program, communication skill, sewing skills, visualization and sketching skills, entrepreneurship skill, and in-depth knowledge of fabric. We incorporated all these skills in our syllabus curriculum while delivering the program. We developed our own courses, self-learning material, distance learning and online platform, and how it has been evaluated. You see these slides. This is online program evaluation going on, live session which we taken yesterday, where all students were present. They opened their camera, 20 students in each batch and 30 students sometimes when students number is high. They opened their cameras. We asked them to perform their task. At the end of the session, they were able to complete that task. In this way, we rectify with the help of my expert colleagues in the particular fashion design apparel sectors, and their skill level evaluated, and all the self-learning material uploaded on our eGyan Coach webpage. And it is also being one part, that is pattern making, also being offered MOOC, that is SWAM platform. This is experimented with 2-3 years last year, which I have been opportunity to coordinate this particular program. Now, coming to this particular face-to-face evaluations, you see, we have adopted blended approach. Regional center of our IGNO have conducted the workshop. All the students are doing and performing this task after doing the practical. So we asked them to bring the raw materials. They were able to perform. These are live pictures what we have shown you. So these are the two skills components programs which we have recently launched in School of Vocational Education. This is a huge enrollment is coming up of this because of the employability, and some students start their startups. During COVID, the program was launched, and first student, he or she made it this mask. And then in the next training programs, she was able to make this all apparel sector designing in school, and this way we completed this particular course. And you see on the sport evaluation, the student is there, and this is the yesterday practical which we conducted school. And on the sport, I took screenshots. Let me show to the programs.
Which program?
This is certificate in fashion design program, which I am coordinating. My colleague, academic associate fashion design appointed, and she is helping me. So we design the content, skill, and audio component. On the sport evaluation done, camera on, and she performed. So in this way, we achieved these skill sets, and this is not required any this particular course center or industry expertise to see. Industry then evaluate whether she has skill or not while recruiting. That is my model, and this is one more student. She has completed her task in fashion design. This is, I think, a brief what we are doing and what we have presented in our course of